to this very special edition of the KJ Masterclass Live, the show which ensures that you profit from your time spent here with experts, either through the industry insights, information, or simply learning from them. And today we have Shannon Russell, straightway live from USA, New Jersey. And she is a career coach, entrepreneur, and host of the Second Act Success Career podcast. And she helps women in unresolved careers pivot towards a second act career that produces a balanced life of abundance. Welcome to the show, Shannon.
Thank you, AJ. I'm so happy to be here with you.
You are welcome to the show. Welcome to India. And I'm sure not just in India, but a lot of places, a lot of people will benefit from what you are going to talk. This is very, very important. You talk about second act to success. So, firstly, to understand from you, Shannon, it was only in Shakespeare's play that I read about the acts, second act, third act, first act. Here it is second act. Help us understand what is this second act success career in success and in career.
So my first act was a television producer. So it's a little play on television. But yeah, it's just about changing careers and really being able to start something new. So second act is whatever it is you want to be, whatever it is you want to change to. Maybe you want to write a book, start a podcast, change careers completely. It is your second act. And some people can have 3, 4, 5, 6 of them.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that is the point, that you should be in a position to act as per your desire, as per the way you want to lead your life. So, how does that happen? Means, who is this second act for? Is it for everybody? Is it, how do I know that I need to put my acts together so that I can have the second act in my career?
That's a good question. I think it really varies by person to person. For me, I was a television producer 16 years, and then I started having children. So that's when it seemed like for me that my life was pivoting a little bit, that the travel, the late hours wasn't fitting into my life as a mom with 2 little ones. And so that's when I started thinking, okay, I might need to pivot. And it's not because I don't like what I was doing. It's because I feel like it doesn't fill me up like it did 15 years ago. So for me, it was thinking about what can I do for my second act using the skills from my first act. And a lot of people, I think it comes to that, we pick our profession right out of school, and then life changes and we need to be able to adapt and change with it. So I just try to encourage people that whenever you're feeling like what you're doing every day is not enough, it's not fulfilling you, it's time to look inward about what could you be doing that is not only going to fulfill you, make you happy, but fits in your lifestyle a little better.
Right, Shannon. But how does one know when to start looking for a change? Normally in jobs, you think that, okay, when the time comes, whatever the requirement is, the company will support you, or things will change for you, even though you see things not changing for others in the company and they are changing their jobs. So how do you prepare for that? Some people are great job hoppers, but that is a different story. But some people, a lot of people are, they want stability in their life, they want stability in their career. Some jobs are quite good. So how do they start looking at things when things are very good?
I always say that if you have a job and you're having that inkling that it's just not where you want to be, that you can do more, and maybe you're kind of feeling like you hit the ceiling or you're not able to, get to that next level on the ladder, that is when you can start using your current situation. So getting that paycheck, but start thinking and start looking about, what else is out there? What else would you be more happy in? Maybe it's doing your same job at just a different company. So that's like an easy enough transition. But maybe it's taking these skills that you have and transitioning them to a whole new career or entrepreneurship. So I always say that if you have that job, stick with it, get that paycheck while you use your lunch break or you use boring meetings, whatever it might be, that you can start researching. Like, what would I be good at? Where do my skills transfer? and what do I want to be doing? And then you can start really looking at your network and start reaching out, asking people, hey, can I chat with you about what you do over here? I'm a little interested in it. So it doesn't mean you have to quit right away and have no plan. You can collect that paycheck, be stable, and start planning for your next move.
Right, right. But in terms of a job, you know, in your case, when you were wanting, you were having your own children, and then at that point in time, you understood that okay, this is the time when your life needs to change.
Yeah.
What about other people? How do they know exactly, in terms of what life is going to bring to them? How do they get started, even when they have just started with something in their lives? How does that work? Generally my understanding is that all men or women, whoever it is, people are reluctant to change, and you are asking for people to be ready to change when you have just begun. So how does that fit in? But that is the right way. I agree with you, that is the right way to look at things. Get married to your own life and don't get married to the company, because ultimately you got to live your own life.
Right. I think it's knowing really taking that time, which a lot of us don't do, of turning inward. Am I happy? Am I enjoying? Am I fulfilled? I just had two clients who were teachers and they just left their teaching jobs because they realized it wasn't the way it was when they started and they wanted to use their skills in different ways, and they both opened businesses. So it's just, I think, knowing, asking yourself, taking that moment to check in with yourself, like, am I good? Am I happy? Am I doing what I want to be doing? If not, then that's where you can start kind of thinking about what else would make you happy. However, if you can't find that thing to make you happy, or you're just leaping into something for the sake of change, that's not going to fulfill you, and that's not going to be stable for the long term. So you want to make sure, if you are switching careers, launching into a business, whatever it is, that you fully research and you really have a educated and confident, plan to move forward, because you don't want to just jump and end up in the same place that you've always been. So I guess it's really just saying, can I do this for the rest of my life? Is there stability in this job? Are people getting fired left and right? Like, is this something I could do until retirement? But if you're unhappy, you get one life to live. So it's okay if you want to make that change. It is solely your decision. No one's going to hand it to you, but you can do little things to work towards it. And some people, my dad was in his job from high school till retirement, loved it. Not everyone's going to be like that. So it's really kind of checking in with you and knowing what it is that will make you happy, and then figuring out that plan.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now let's look at some the way some people may look at it, and that there are some pitfalls into this. We have just experienced this great resignation, and a lot of people are saying, "Okay, that is not going to last," and many people are saying that it is there for a long, long time. Having seen that, whatever it is, a lot of people uh, always try to look at as the grass greener on the other side when you are into. So how do they maintain that fine balance? They look at their present situation with pragmatism, and also look at the prospects, not as a case of grass being greener on the other side, because it's only because of the law of physics that you find the grass greener. It's not a fact always. So
Mhm.
how do you balance that thought process? Who should you consult during that point in time? Who are your best advisors? You are yourself a certified career coach, and you support women on how to change careers, start a business, and follow their creative passions. Those people who are not in touch with you, or has a coach like you, how should they put all their act in place, and see that they are actually taking something very concrete towards what they actually want to achieve?
I think we have a lot of resources outside of, getting a business coach or a career coach. We really have networks online. So we could go into LinkedIn, for example. look at people that we've known since high school or before and say, okay, if I'm interested, for example, in getting into accounting, I can look and see like, who do I know that's in the accounting space? Let me message them, ask them for what I call informational interviews, and just chat with them or ask them a couple questions about it, because you want to vet these careers, because if you're switching to something completely different, you want to have the education to know that this is something for you, because the grass isn't always greener. And so you can have these informational interviews, ask them a little bit about it. Do you like the company you're at? Would you stay there? Would you recommend it? What's your day to day? Because everything always looks great. Oh, I'm going to be a teacher. I'm going to be a realtor. They have it so much better than me. And it's not always the case. So I think use our network for sure, whether it's an informational interview or a warm introduction to someone else who might be in at a company that you're interested in or in a profession that you're interested in, and learn everything you can about it. I always feel like I'm always willing to help people who reach out to me. And I think there's a lot of people out there who, especially in the Zoom age, that we can just hop online, chat for 5 or 10 minutes, and help someone else. And aside from that, there's lots of opportunities if there's a company or an industry that you're interested in to go and volunteer. Even if it's just a couple hours once a month, you're getting to see a business on the inside. Maybe it's an internship. Maybe it's a certification that you take online in a certain industry. And through that, weekend course, you're going to learn a little bit more about it to see if that's something that feels good to you. And so really doing that, like we have those, all of those things I just mentioned are at our fingertips online, and something really easy that we can do to make sure that if we're switching, that grass is going to be greener.
Absolutely, absolutely, Shannon. Now, a lot of people have this idea that one should be their own boss,
Mm.
and they get the idea of starting a business or being a coach or consultant, which is fine, which is just fine. But the thing is that it has to be again based on something very pragmatic. It may look good when you are in a job because here you are dealing with difficult colleagues or even your boss, manager, but a business is something very, very different. How should they evaluate this situation before taking that leap of faith is perfectly all right, but it should be also when you've got eyes, you should know what you are jumping into, so or landing into. Look, how does one look at the practical side of going into business? You help a lot of women, especially, make change to that career change, make that career change, start a business, and look at other things. But especially from the business point of view, how should people evaluate their situation? Because once you are out of the job, there is no going back. It is not easy to get back into the same company.
You're right. And once you're your own boss, you don't want to go back to working for someone else. And you know what, AJ, it's funny. When I left television, I tried a couple different things that didn't feel right. And I ended up going into entrepreneurship. I opened a franchise business for my first business. And that to me was really great because I had not run a business before. So by getting into the franchise, I had all the support from the corporate office. I had other owners around the world to reach out to. But even before I bought into that, I spoke with other franchisees, other owners of that business. I did my due diligence to make sure this was a company I wanted to align with. And so I suggest that to clients, people I speak to all the time, is that you want to do your due diligence. You want to ask people. And again, it's like kind of going back to that informational interview or that warm introduction. If you're thinking of launching a yoga studio, talk to other people who have run yoga studios and how it's going for them. And if you think there's competition in your area, you can go online. You can call a yoga studio in another state where they're not going to be threatened by you opening one, and you can ask them questions about it. So it's really trying to, again, learn about that business model, whether it's a franchise or not, and where you think that growth will be. Who will your clientele be? What will your day-to-day be? Are these things that you like doing, or are you just trading in your clients from your corporate job to deal with clients in your own business that you're still not going to be happy with? So you can really just do your due diligence by looking at other businesses that are, aligned to what you're thinking of. And then really start looking at, you have to know that you're not going to make money the first day or the first year. So what do you have ready to go to save for that? And really think of it as a long-term investment, and really learn as much as you can, and just think of all of the aspects, right? There's marketing, there's the startup. Is it a brick and mortar? Is it not? There's just so many things to think about. So yeah, it's definitely a bigger decision, I think, than just switching careers or finding a new company to work at, to really go in and on it yourself.
Absolutely. Now, as a career coach, in terms of people making that transition, there are some skills that you have from the old job that you do. And if you are starting, say, entrepreneurship as a business, whatever, or coaching or consulting, what are the skills that they should look at? How should they look at the present skill set? How should they know, okay, in this job, this is the skill set which was helping me stay in this job? What is it going to be helping me in the next job? Is it going to sustain me? Do I need to learn new skills? How do I evaluate again that part? How do I learn? How do I unlearn? And then take that turn towards success.
That's a great question. I think that really it's taking a list of all of your skills. And what I tell my clients is make that list, just old fashioned on paper, of everything you do. And now break it down into what do you want to continue doing and what do you never want to do again, even if you're really good at it. And, just make that list. And then make your non-negotiables. Like, if I am really good at numbers, but I'm going to this company, I don't want to work with numbers, I don't want to work with budgets, then you know that. And if you know that this new opportunity for you is really going to be client facing, and you haven't had a lot of client facing experience, let's look at your other experience. Have you been a team leader? Have you worked with people within your team? Well, that's still dealing with people and management, and you probably really can deal with clients. So it's kind of really analyzing that. I'm a UMAP coach as well, and that is a UMAP profile assessment where it looks at your strengths and your values and your preferred skills and your least preferred skills. And I love doing that with people, because then you look at it and you say, well, I have a whole list of skills that I don't want to touch again. And so you can really use that as you move forward. And same with your preferred skills. Like, you're like, wow, I didn't realize that I could maybe write a giant presentation for this advertising company, but I've been writing for a local newspaper for years. So I have those writing skills and I can use them in a different capacity. And when you see it on paper, it really kind of, I think for a lot of people, it makes you proud, and you realize, wow, I really have accomplished a lot. And now I'm ready to show it to a new corporation, new industry in a whole new way.
Absolutely. Now, how did you do? Like, you were into television production, you were a producer there. And so how did you use those skills that you learned in your work for 16 long years with top brands, top places, MTV, Yahoo, Pop Sugar, A&E, TLC, VH1, so many of them. And how did you put to use in the life after that, when you stopped producing for others and started producing your own life in the way you want it?
It was really hard. It was a really dark time, which is a reason I became a career coach, because I felt like I was really alone. My husband was a television producer. All of my best friends were in television. So I had to take a look at what could I do. And television is such a niche industry. No one knows what we do in TV. So I had to
Right.
really take a look at it. And I said, wow, I interview celebrities, I run budgets, I oversee these live productions and these huge shows. So when I thought about entrepreneurship, I said, I can do this. And when I bought into my first business, I took this business that no one in my state of New Jersey knew, and I really had to grow it from nothing to being in the top 5 of all of the Snapology franchises. So I really had to use my skills as far as marketing and dealing with, agents and doing promos for TV. Now I was doing promos for my company. And I took, the fact that I did hire back in TV. So I took those skills over to hire my team. It really was the whole encompassing a producer. You're producing an idea to make it into reality. And in my business, I was doing the same thing. So I was taking this idea of the business and fully fleshing it out till it was a running, profitable business. So yeah, I learned a lot about myself, and it's kind of what I like to instill in people now is that you can do that too. Just look at what you've done, be amazed at yourself, and then say, I want to take this and try something new. What's next, right? Like just be excited for the new adventure.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. So, in your understanding, a lot of people who come for your suggestions for career guidance, uh, what do you look for? Is it, or they should be having? Is it about their skills, or is it about that belief in themselves that the leap of faith or the second career or the second act is going to be good for them? How do you look at do things? Somebody who may be having very good skills may not have that much of faith. Somebody must be having a lot of belief, self belief, but maybe having less skills.
Mhm.
How would you want to look at that? What would you like to tell them? What is it that works? What is it that will not work?
Well, first I do a UMAP assessment with all my clients because then I can kind of understand who they are and they get to see kind of the skills that they have again and really what their strengths are. So that's my first starting point. And then I really talk with my clients. Some of my clients are leaping out of their corporate jobs into business. So I'm really helping them get their small businesses up and running. So they know what they want to do. They have this goal and I'm just helping them get there and achieve it and kind of being their accountability partner along the way. Where my other half of my clients come to me and they're just really upset and they're in a toxic workplace or they just feel like kind of like I did, this doesn't align with me and where I am in my life, but they have no clue where they want to go. So then we spend a lot of time narrowing down all of their ideas till they know, okay, yeah, I do want to open that salon down the street. And then we can really work towards how to get there. So it's really, I get two different types of clients and they're both equally fun because you're helping guide them along the way. I'm definitely not telling them you can do this or absolutely you can change and it's going to be glorious. Like, no, there's going to be challenges. So we work together and I'm that accountability partner. And I feel like because I've done it all, worked in corporate, ran now two businesses, and now I get to help people. I have a nice, you know, arsenal of actionable tools to help people with that comes in handy a lot. And I just like to be that cheerleader for people too, because the last thing you want to do is be miserable every day of your life until the end.
Absolutely, absolutely. You have that belief, take that plunge, and you will land at the beach that you are in, that you stay at.
Yes.
But that needs a lot of courage indeed. And even though I asked some tough questions, the fact is I believe that a lot of self belief is the first step towards towards making that career change or towards moving towards a life that you actually want. There is so much to learn from you about entrepreneurship, about uh, production, about running a business, about a podcast. And you have a podcast, second act success career podcast. So people can learn from that. So tell us about that. And secondly, about your company also, second act success. How can people know more about it? How can people connect with you, know more about it? And also, people who want to take your guidance, take be make you your their career coach.
Oh, that'd be so nice. Yeah, everything's at my website, secondactsuccess.co. And there, my podcast links are there for the Second Act Success Career Podcast, ways to work with me. I have a blog full of career advice, a bunch of freebies. There's a quiz. Is now the right time for you to change careers? So that's really all there. And I spend a lot of time on TikTok and Instagram at Second Act Success. And yeah, and I feel like I love working with clients, whether it's one-on-one. I'm developing a big program with group coaching as well that'll be out very shortly. So I think I just like to meet people with where they're at because it is a scary time when you're thinking about taking that leap. So you just want to give them that encouragement where they might not always get that from friends and family at home, and give them the steps that they can take, so it's not that scary and that they can achieve it on their own time. So yeah, it's very rewarding.
Absolutely. And what's the best way to connect with you? What's the quickest way for people to connect with you?
I'm on Instagram all the time. So just even DMing me at Second Act Success is probably the best way on Instagram.
Wonderful, wonderful. With this, it's a wrap on this very special edition of the KJ Masterclass Live. Thank you so much indeed for joining us.
Thank you.